Okay, welcome to Lesson 5. We will pick up on page 108. I have already done the usual things. I've started Photoshop, restored my default preferences, changed to a lighter interface, changed my pop-up window to show current tool, and I've opened up the redeye.start.jpg and saved it as redeyeworking.psd. Note that if you're opening from the Mac Finder or the Windows Explorer, you'll need to not double-click. You'll need instead to go to Photoshop and do File Open. Finally, I've done Control-0, fit in my screen, and saved this as redeyeworking.psd. Let's get going. So we've got a problem with Redeye. I'm going to switch to my zoom tool and turn off the scrubby zoom. If you have scrubby zoom, you may want to turn it off. And instead, I'll click and drag and draw a marquee around the eyes to get a good close-up of the eyes. Those are red. Fortunately, we have a tool that'll help us with that. Underneath the spot healing brush tool is the Redeye tool. And we'll come up and set our settings as described in the book. We'll set the pupil size to 23%. Come in here and type 23. And we'll set the darken amount to 62%. Removing the red eye is pretty straightforward. I'll click in the left eye and that red reflection disappears. I'll come over to the right eye and do the same thing. That's it. Red eye removed. Let's do Control-0 to fill the screen. Looks good. Let's do a file save. The image looks a little dark, so we'll try lightening it up with a curves adjustment layer. Over on adjustments, I'll come down here and choose curves. First thing I usually try is just to try auto to see what that does. That's not too bad. Let's try something different. Instead, we'll use one of the presets. We'll use lighter. Let's try that. Similar. Let's take our own control of the curves. I'm going to hit the reset button here to go back to the original image. And now what I'll do is I'll use the on image adjustment tool. That's this guy right here. And now what I can do is I can click and drag. I'll use her forehead right here and click and drag upward just a little bit. You can see as you drag up, you can see the image lighten. Normally I wouldn't flatten here, but we're going to use the liquefy tool next. Flattening will probably make it a little easier to use. So I'll come over to layer and flatten image. And then finally, I'll save the file. Next, we'll tweak the image a little bit with the liquefy filter. Come up to filter, come down and choose liquefy. That opens up this liquefy filter window. In the properties panel here, I've got the face aware liquefy expanded, and I've gone down and expanded eyes, nose, mouth, and face shape so we can see them all. I will also click here on the icon, the link icon between eye size, eye height. I'll do width and tilt too. I'm not going to adjust those, but I'll make sure that I do the same adjustment to both eyes. The book has some settings, but before you choose the settings, what I suggest is you come in here and play a little bit with the sliders. So I'm going to come here and try eye width. You can see you can make both eyes wider. You can make both eyes a little taller. Come down here to the mouth and change the thickness of the upper or lower lip. Change the width of the mouth. Come in here, you can recognize the shape of the face. You can lower, raise the forehead. And as I drag these, as I play with these, you'll notice that sliders are changing over here in the panel. Come here and play with the nose. You can either pull it up or down. So you can really modify the way a person looks, at least a little bit, with this liquefy filter. Now I will go and set the settings that they asked for in the book. We have the lock icon set between eye size and eye height. We have those set to 32 and 10 respectively, and both eyes will change the same amount because the lock icon is selected. We come down and set the smile, a slight smile at 5, and the mouth height at 9, and finally jawline at 40 and face width at 50. You can see that we've changed her face. If you want to see the changes that we've made, you can check and uncheck the preview to see the slight changes we've made to her face. That's all there is to a little touch-up. I'll click OK and do a save.